Good afternoon, evening, morning, noon, night, whatever it is. Hopefully you're not in the middle of the night watching this video for my class or whatever else, or studying for some test or some other thing. This is going to be the last kind of review pre-algebra video / lesson that we're going to do. We're going to look at basic unit conversions. This one is the first video when I think for a lot of folks, potentially, unless you've been coming from one of my classes, that it's kind of new content, kind of. A lot of you have probably done unit conversions before, excuse me, but I'm going to teach you a particular method and a particular way to set the problem up. And if you're one of my students, I really want you doing these problems this way. Even though it seems like a lot of trouble for something, a pretty easy problem on this. And the reason that I want you to start doing them this way is because this method is going to work when the unit conversions get bigger and when they get fatter, and it'll last all the way through like chemistry. Because when you do chemistry and you do these stoichiometry problems that a lot of people find scary and hard and whatever else, they're not really that hard if you learn this way of doing unit conversions, because they're just kind of a long unit conversion problem. So let's do a handful of examples and I'll kind of show you what I mean. So the instructions for all of these examples is going to be convert. So all of these examples, and if you're in my class, homework problems at this point in your math life and all those things, they're all going to be single step conversions. Okay. So you really are ultimately, our question is, do we multiply or do we divide? So we're going to start by converting 129 feet to yards. Oops. Whoa. I'm having trouble with my Y, apparently. My Y wants to be a D or something. I don't even know. Okay, 129 feet, and we're going to convert that to yards. Now, if you've done a lot of unit conversion practice, you look at that and you think, oh, just divide by 3. And you'd be right? And that's not wrong. And so, but if you didn't automatically see that, then this problem is even more useful to you. This is example 1, by the way. So here is the method that I'm going to teach you. And we're ultimately going to just divide by 3. I promise. Okay, so we're going to write down our given first. That's our step number 1. I don't teach a lot of things in my math classes just by a step-by-step procedure, but this one I do. Our next step is to put this over 1. You'll notice that we're going to kind of sneak in some fraction stuff a little bit, because 129 divided by 1 is still 129. Now, to do a conversion, what we're going to add is we're going to add a times fraction bar. Now, what we need to do is we're trying to take and we're trying to get rid of the feet. I know this seems like a lot, but especially if you're really good at conversions already. But again, they get harder, and this works forever. Okay, so we're trying to get rid of the feet, and if we want to get rid of the feet, we've got to take and we've got to divide feet on this other side, and we're going from feet to yards. So we're going to put the unit that we're going to go to on the top. Now we have to know our conversion. Well, we probably, hopefully, maybe know that there are 3 feet in 1 yard, right? So what we're going to do is the 3 goes next to the feet here, and the 1 goes next to the yard. Now you notice that this 3 is on the bottom, and so this is what we're going to try to do. Again, these are just one step. So all we have to do now that we've got this set up and we're ready to go, and we can look and say, okay, the feet cancel, which is good, leaving us with yards. That's even better, right? Because that's what we're trying to get to. We just got to know, do we divide or do we multiply? And that's the only question we're going to ask right now. Now, when there's we're going to get to a point later, even a little bit in this course, where we get these kind of strings of fractions times fraction bars, and you got a bunch of multiplication and division happening, right? We're going to do that later, but for now, we just have to ask the question once instead of a bunch of times. We have to ask, do we multiply or divide? If the number, not the 1, but the other number is on the bottom, we divide, right? So 129 divided by 3. Now, I'm going to scratch paper this one out because that's a good idea. At this point in the course, you're not using a calculator, right? So 3 on the porch, and 129 in the house. 3 goes into 1 no times. 3 goes into 12 4 times. 4 times 3 is 12. Subtract. A lot of you could probably do this multiplication in your head, and I understand that, and that's not a problem at all. But just for practice sake and clarity and all of those things. 3 goes into 9 3 times. 3 times 3 is 9. 9. Oh, I didn't bring down. I kind of got ahead of myself and started talking about things. This 9 should have been there, and then another 9, and then subtract. Sorry. 9 minus 9 is 0. Oh, I forgot to leave that up there. Oops. So we've got a 0 at the end. We're good to go. We're done. The answer is 43. I'm leaving a space because we don't want to forget our units. 43 yards is the answer. So let's do another example. Okay. Example number 2. Example number 2. Let's do 4.5 feet, 2 inches. So we're going to set it up the same way. We're going to put our given on the top. 4.5 feet. Whoops. I'm having trouble writing this video. Sorry about that. Over 1 is my first step. And then a times fraction bar, right? Times fraction bar. We want to cancel out those feet. And we're going to go to inches. Feet are going to cancel, leaving us with inches. That's great, right? So then we need to know that there are 12 inches in 1 foot. So we're going to put the 12 by the IN, the inches unit, right? And a 1 by the feet. Now we're going to look and we're going to ask that one and only question that we want. We only have to ask it once. It's really simple. Are we going to multiply or are we going to divide? Well, the number that's not a 1 is on the top. And so we're going to multiply. So 4.5 times 12. Now, if you've been following along with us, you've practiced something like this. Let's get some more practice in there. So 12 times 4.5. 5 times 2 is 10. 5 times 1 is 5. Plus 1 is 6. We're at the end of that. Going to scratch through that. Add us a 0. 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 1 is 4. We're going to add those up. 0 plus 0 is 0. 6 plus 8 is 14. 1 plus 4 is 5. We've only got 1 decimal place moved over, so that's all we've got to move over there. We're going to bounce that decimal over once. So our answer is 54 inches. There are various ways to do this in your head and all those kind of things, feet and inches and all that kind of stuff. A lot of you probably could have done this entire problem in your head, and that is a useful skill. Don't let you hear me saying that it's not. It is very useful. But if we get some of these strategies and ways of setting up problems set in our head now, it's going to make our life easier later. So make sure, if you're one of my students, that you do these problems this way. I'll see you in class. Y'all have a great day. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to this video, especially if you're not one of my students. Let us know down in the comments how we can help you some more. Bye-bye. Adios.